Dimela, Sawubona, Sakpase, Namaste, Upshin, Dubra Otra, Assalamu alaikum, Hotep, Buenos dias, Bonjour. Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's good to see you on this morning. Let me hop right into it. So, this is a part of the year where people are picking up books, people are going and shopping for books, whether they be notebooks, journals, planners. And sometimes, if you're still taking that trip on a plane, a bus, or a train, you actually might pick up a book. Not just the little e reader, not the audible.com, but some people literally just like the smell of a book. The bibliophiles know what I'm talking about. Right here today on the Doria Laria Show. If you don't know who I am, my name is Doria Inez Laria of Laria's Education Resource Network, where I plant seeds to help you grow. And I always love to engage with inspirational leaders who inspire, who influence, and who impact people's lives to be lived better. And right here today, we're going to have someone who does that with some actual pages. Let's talk to my sister, Nisha Parker.
Hello, everyone.
Good
Book
morning.
lovers. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, 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 welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So, this is
Thank
all
you.
things paper and pages and page flags and covers and all of that. And then the joy with it. Let me just tell people who you are. So this, and I'm gonna do the official, and then you do like the crib notes. So this is, of course, is Nisha Parker. She's the founder and CEO of Beauty and a Book Box and Retreat. She promotes the alignment of literacy and self-care through a subscription box, a book a month, or a book a quarter, and luxury literary experiences. And each quarter, her team curates and sends a beauty and a book box to tweens and teens and adults. So there's a book for everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
They also offer custom boxes for special occasions. So Beauty in a Book Box hosts annual retreats, which we're going to talk about today. One for teens during the summer, so the teens can actually do some reading and enjoying of life during their break. And, and for the adults during a variety of parts of the year. So in the subscription box, of course, you can expect a book or a novel and bookish items. I love a good page flag and a good bookmark. I hope some of them are in there. And beauty and self-care items. The retreats are all inclusive. I cannot wait to hear about the upcoming retreat. They also host branded book brunches during every retreat, which features an author and or an author panel. The attendees also experience massages. Who doesn't love a massage in a book? And some tea, I'm sure, and other relaxing treatments. So let us chat about with the CEO and founder, Miss Nisha Frey Parker. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Um,
how do we even get started on this? Tell us all about it. How do we get started? How did you and I meet?
yes. So our meeting was, I feel, just like the perfect alignment. I was at the Soulful Joy retreat, and we started talking and sharing information about each other. And then we were talking about entrepreneurship, and you were telling me like some different events that were happening, or different people that are I should follow. Um, and one of the people that you mentioned, or one of the events, was the Sisters in Business event, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be at the brunch," and you were like, "Well, see you next week." So that was just perfect alignment. I was like, wow, you really know when, everything is full circle and connected, when you're in spaces and, everything just connects. So we got a chance to hang out at the brunch as well. And that was fun. I got a chance to meet your mom. Um, and yeah, it was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
It was an excellent time, an excellent opportunity just to sort of fall back in love with other people who who like to read and who really like to delve into literature, into stories. So let's sort of pop back a couple of years. How in the world did you ever come up with from being a reader to being a reader leader? Oh, I just came up with that one. Okay, okay.
And
How'd that?
we just sent out a tote that said readers are leaders. So
And
I
I
love
didn't
it.
know that.
All of that alignment. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So I many moons ago, maybe like about 12 years ago, I started an event planning company. And when I realized how much work, I had to put in with a young child and running that company and working and being in school, I wanted to find something that didn't require so much of me being there. So I dissolved that company. I opened an online boutique, and we did like sip and shops. Um, but then I moved to California. So that was just like another thing where I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to find something that I love, and but something that could be mine, like I've been working for the Department of Education since I was 19. So I just wanted to find something that was connected to me, something that I could give to my children. And so I wrote a book in 2017. I published that book.
Wait, what's
Um,
the name of the book? I didn't know that.
yeah, Day is Destiny. So it's a thriller. That's how I got into like the box. So I wrote that book and I was on a book tour. So I was going to Atlanta to different like events to vend. I was in LA doing different events. And when I was talking to people, they were just telling me like, oh man, like I'm so happy to see authors here, but I just don't even have time to read even like articles online, like in
Wow.
digital spaces. They weren't having, they didn't have time to do that. And so, I started to do surveys because I was like, wow, because it was like becoming like more and more people that I met were just sharing that with me. One lady that stuck out to me the most, she told me she hadn't read anything in, I believe, 5 or 10 years. And I said, not even a magazine or, something for leisure. And she said, no, she said, with work and my kids and stuff, so it just saddened me, and I was like, wow, like we need to like, I need to do something. And it has to be collaborative, like something that encourages, people to understand also the importance of reading for leisure.
Right, right.
So I started a book club on Facebook, and it was to encourage women to read. And it was a book club group. And so we would do like monthly book clubs and just try to motivate each other. It was mainly for that woman who did not have time or felt like they didn't have time to read, like sending short stories and articles and posting different things like that
Okay.
to try to motivate them to read, and to encourage each other. Like, hey, I went 2 months or 3 months and I haven't picked up a book. Like, what should I read? Things like that. So that book club grew to over 4,000 members.
Wait.
And
How long did it take? How long did it take? If you just wrote this book in 2017.
yes. And so I started the book club group in September 2017. So I released the book in about January of that year. I started doing tours. And then in September, I realized we need a platform to like bring these people who aren't, reading and try to encourage them. So that was
Wow.
September 2017. So we're actually about to celebrate our 5 year
Oh my
book club
wow.
anniversary. But yeah, it took a couple of years actually to get to I would say about 2 years to get to the 4,000 members.
Even still, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah,
Those
we
people who are here, one second. Those people here. This is Nisha Parker, and she's the founder and CEO of Beauty in a Book Box. So please click on that link. Go follow. Go look it up. Go become a subscriber. Just if you're a book lover or you're like a book like too much. This is actually how this thing started, to sort of get people back into the love of reading for a variety of purposes, but of course for leisure. And so, share it out, even if you're not able to sort of stay for the whole time, or invite people in who also have the same idea about the love for books, but maybe it may be too much.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. And drop comments and questions, please, along the way, and I'll add it to the conversation. Happy to do that. Okay, so you have 4,000 people after 2 years. So that's like 2019 or so.
Yes.
Okay.
So we after we started the book club, we saw like the interest that like it became a community, where we would like, I mean, if someone had a question like in the comments that may or may not have been book related, like some of the members would reach out to me and say, hey Nisha, like, this person is asking this question, like, were you aware? It was just like very connected. It became like a really close-knit community. And so I was like, wow, like this is amazing, because a lot of the women in that group shared that they hadn't read in so long. So I was trying to figure out like, okay, we have this book club community on Facebook. How can we connect either in person or in another space? Because, with social media, there's so many changes that happen. I didn't want
Right.
to have everything on social media, So I was
Good.
like, how can I bring this community together in a different way, and also start expanding it to the tweens and the teens, so that as they grow and become adults, they have tools to kind of not combat, but to understand why the I'm sorry, um, why literacy is important. So my friend actually came up to me and she was like, oh, there's like subscription boxes that people send out that have books in it. And I was like, oh, like, that sounds nice, but there were so many, of them. And I'm like, well, if anything that I do in business, I like to try to do something unique,
Excellent.
because I think that is like when you have a niche, it's easier to brand, and also it's more impactful. I feel like for people to see that alignment, if it's like a narrow niche. So I continued on the tour, the book tour, and I started to notice that people were at like the beauty tables, so the tables that sold makeup, the tables that sold like body scrubs, the tables that sold clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then those same people were coming to me like saying, oh, I haven't read. And, so I was like, well, what if we did something that
And we
aligns the
wine.
beauty and the cosmetics and, with literacy? And I started toying with different names. And I was just like, let's just get straight to the point, right? It's beauty. Beauty encompasses cosmetics, fragrance, makeup, like a whole slew of things. And then book.
What's popping in my head as soon as you said that? I was thinking of the title or the subtitle that people will give to a woman, and it's like, oh, she not only has what brains, and beauty. Like
Yes.
grace and beauty. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that sort of popped in like the ideation of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, our first article, our first featured article with Sheen Magazine, that was their title, like Brains and Beauty.
Look at that. That's the second time we're having this
Alignment.
conversation.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Great.
Yeah. So I was like, let's just, I don't want people to guess what is in our box.
Okay.
I was like, let's just say it very plainly, beauty and a book box. I said, I want to send a book. I also want to send beauty products, and I also would like to send some bookish items. So that
Love.
was kind of the easy part, which is coming up with the brand name. If you
Mhm.
see my sketches of my logo that I did way back when, our logo designer was able to take those drawings because I'm not an artist, I'm an English teacher.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
She was able to take those sketches and to come up with the logo. It's exactly almost like how I drew it.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, we did that. I had to learn more about the subscription box model, what that entailed, how to partner with publishers, how to partner with beauty brands. Um, so we started that like in 2018, so about a year after
Mhm.
we started the book club. And then January 2019 is when we launched our first box. And initially, we were a monthly subscription box. Initially, we did not have book options. We would send out, whatever the publisher suggested for that month.
Okay. Okay.
Initially, we only had adult boxes. So by the second month, we had over 500 subscribers, and we were packing the boxes ourselves. So I
I
was
know
still
what that's
teaching. Yeah, I was still teaching, like, and I, taught in a behavioral setting. So it was a high energy job already.
mhm.
And then my husband was working, so we had a conversation. I'm like, one of us has to quit our job because it was so much packing
I know.
um,
I know.
that
I can
it
imagine.
it started to become overwhelming. Um, so we worked it out for that year, but we did make plans like, okay, in 2020, we are going to switch to quarterly
That was the idea.
because,
And then
yes,
2020 hit.
yes, yes.
We were all
So
thrown.
we had all these plans for 2020. One of them was to add the tween and teen box
Wow.
because a lot of parents were like, hey, my daughter wants to open a box with me. Um, and so we were like, oh, that's easy because I'm in the education space. So I teach kids all day, every day. So I'm like, okay, I know like the books and stuff that I have in my classroom that I would want my own children to read.
Yes. Yes.
So those boxes ended up being the most popular because parents were able to use them as incentives to get their children and their teens specifically to read. We've
Okay.
had teens with us like from the beginning, so from 2020 until now, like their parents use like it as an incentive. Some have graduated from high school and they switched to the adult box. So just to see that transition is like a family.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Please hold on a second.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that people who are watching at this point, make sure that of course, who I'm speaking to, Nisha Parker of Beauty in a Book Box, and share this out. Even if people are just in transit or what have you, just share it out. Make sure that other people that again, if they are book lovers or they're interested in being book lovers or they used to read and they want to read or they just can't figure out like what to pick up right now, genres we'll talk about in a moment. Of course, age groups. I'm actually interested to figure out how you got teens who are just graduating from high school who move up to the adult box. I'm thinking content. Like I'm thinking content. Everything that's made for someone who's 15, 16, 17 is not made for an adult and vice versa. So maybe we should
Yeah.
like shoot into that and then find out what happened in 2020 of you moving from monthly to quarterly and then the retreat. So
Yes. Yeah.
content.
So like the teens, they had been with us since, well, that teen specifically, um, she'd been with us since she was 16. So like in 2020. And then now she's graduated high school. She's 18. She was able to just switch her, like on our website, like if you go into your subscriber thing, you can switch to the adult box, the tween box.
Okay.
We have even some adults that, like when we send out the book options, they would like the young adult book option. So we have book choices, which is great.
So they can kind of gift it to someone. So even though it comes to that person, I mean, if I'm gonna
Yes.
get like a book that I just read, Black Brother, it's like a tween book. But if I want it, then and it's in the teen right book choice, I
Yes.
could do it for myself. But I'm probably gonna say, okay, let me get another set with the cute little beauty part, right, and gift it to
Yes.
someone. Okay, okay, good, good, good.
Yeah. So some people, it just depends on like what your preference is to read. We are at the point now where we have employees. So a lot of the so a lot of like like the conversations that I used to be able to have with our subscribers, it's like mostly the ones who've been with us for a long time. We kind of connect. Um, but yeah, if you go into, we have like a subscriber portal, and you
Hmm.
can switch your item. So switch your box to, if you're an adult box, you can switch it to a teen box. But once you're subscribed, we send out a like survey to choose
Hmm.
your book for that quarter. You can choose a teen book and still get the adult beauty products and still get the adult bookish items.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so this specific teen, like she was 16 when she started. Her mom signed her up for our box, and she recently graduated high school. So she went in, her mom, gave her access to the account. And she's like, okay, like I'm ready for the adult box, because the makeup items do differ. And we don't always send out makeup. Like for September, we have the La Rose cleansing facial bar.
Okay. Ooh,
So
and
we
let's see the beauty.
partner,
You have the subscription box?
yes.
So I have some great people watching. Thank you so much to I see Fam, I see Dr. Angie, and I see Sister Ramunda. So yes, share this out if possible. This again is Nisha Parker of Beauty in a Book Box. If you are a lover of books or you want to read more, and I have actually some people watching who are in the like religious and spiritual spaces, and so maybe this is like something that either other people can try to do. But let me tell you something, if you really want to do this well, you got to go to Nisha Faye Parker, because I think she's literally spilling the tea on like how this grew exponentially and then delivered, and you're like, okay, maybe not monthly, maybe quarterly.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. With quarterly, it increased so much because people didn't have that bill every month. Now it's only 4 times a year,
Okay.
and they have a chance to get through the book.
Right.
And still have our book club meetings on our in our Facebook group. So yeah. And then also, like, so for religious based books or things like that, like we've sent out books related to that. You just, like, when you sign up, you'll put like your genre preference, and we ask, questions or whatever, like what religion, what authors are you interested in, things like that. And we curate it to each person.
So
It's very customized, even though it's just the quarterly box.
so then let me ask a question, because actually it didn't hit me until, and actually let me pull this up. So thank you to Sister Ramunda. Excellent. So then actually Ramunda says the box is lovely. Now let me just tell you. So she's saying the box is I know why she's saying the box is lovely, because she's amazing. She's an etiquette specialist. And so she loves things that are very feminine and very girly in a very lovely way. And so that, I know that's like touching her at her core right now. So thank you so much for that. And of course, like invite other people and share this out. So let me just ask a question about the genres, because in my mind, I initially thought that you had, let's say, one publisher, because I think at the beginning you said it was just one book and like everybody was getting that book. But the fact
Yeah.
that you have multiple publishers and then you have multiple genres, I'm thinking about the back of house. I always think about the back of house. What does that then look like? That means, let's say you have 4 or 5 publishers, and through the course now, because it's quarterly, do you say, hey, I have, let's say let's just keep it simple. Out of 200 people, I have 30 people who really want spiritual or religious texts. So then that publisher pulls from there and says, these are the things that we have. And then you send it. How does that part work? Because if I'm a subscriber and
Okay.
I really want to stay on, like, let's say like the religious, spiritual genre, how do I do that?
Okay, so we not only, now we've expanded so much that we do not only partner with publishers, we partner with bookstores. So our newest partnership right now is Sister Sci-Fi, which is like Afrocentric um, science fiction and fantasy, which is a huge. You have to follow them. They're amazing. But yeah, so we partner with those people in the book space. So when we get these, it's called a genre preference,
Mm-hmm.
then we're able to reach out to people that are in our book community and say, hey, one of our subscribers is interested in this, or 30 of our subscribers are interested in that. And they
Right.
give us titles for suggestion, and then someone, either myself or someone from our team, will get that book, read it, and then decide if that's going to be the book that we send out. So the quarterly, the quarterly model actually allows us a lot more time to do that, because
The
before we didn't
research.
have time
Yeah.
to get book options. Now with the book options, with the quarterly model, we have time to offer book options, and so a lot of people like that. But for December, I want to like say that. So that's March, June, and September are we offer book options. For December, it's the surprise me option. So surprise me option, we still use your preference, your genre preference, because everyone completes the genre preference when they sign up. We still use the genre preference, but you cannot specifically choose, what book you want for the surprise me option.
Okay.
Um, so because December is our, Christmas time, we send out on December 3rd. So they get it, they receive it by Christmas. And so the quantity that we ship out is so high that we have to keep it rolling, like, okay, this genre, that genre. But honestly, most people do not, they choose the surprise me option, even for the other quarters. They do
Okay.
not want to know, because, like, from what they tell me, is like that's the purpose of them subscribing. They want the surprise. They know what their genre preference is, so they know they're going to receive something within that genre preference. But they don't want to pick the book, because then they feel like they could just go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book. So I'm like, okay, I see both. You also, for me, the reason why we started um, offering book options was because we wanted to give them that option. We still offer Surprise Me, but the book options also allows you to see what the books are. So if you've read it before, you can skip a quarter. Some people will reach out to me and say, "Hey, I read this. Is there another, book that you can send? Because I still want to receive the bookish items and the beauty products." And so we will work with those people, to get something that they haven't read before. But recently we started like getting books that haven't been released, so that like our September book, Big Chicas Don't Cry by Annette Chavez Macias.
Wow.
Um, her book didn't release yet, so it comes out next week, Friday. It releases September 1st. No, that's Thursday. Yeah. So our subscribers will, like have the options to get things that aren't released. We're working hard on like continuing to do that.
Okay. So I'm loving this even more. And actually I turned to the side because I said, oh my goodness, I have like a little epiphany to uh try to incorporate something similar of with what I'm doing, and we'll see how that works. Uh but you've given me the inspiration, and that's in parcel what this is. It's to share, the inspirational leaders that I meet, that I engage with, that I come across, and just share it with another level of community. So I do thank you so much for just saying yes, sure, I'll come on, and in order to share this information. And for those of you who are just popping on, this is Nisha Parker of Beauty and a Book Box, and now we're going to talk about the retreat part. So when I
Yes.
met you and your sister were like, okay, we can't wait until this retreat. Now you had a retreat in
In
Jamaica,
March.
right? In March.
No, in Florida this past March, and Jamaica is next year.
In Jamaica. But then there was a big one that I said, "Ooh, I may want to try that one." What's the other one?
So we had Florida 2022 for
Right?
adults. We had New York 2022 for teens. We have Jamaica 2023 for adults coming
Okay.
up. That one
Yeah.
is our biggest one to date as far as like the amount of people that are attending.
Excellent.
We have Iceland 2024.
That's the one I was
That's
talking about.
Yes. And then we just added Seychelles 2024. So
Seychelles.
yeah, so those are the upcoming. Oh, and then we have the teen next year, California 2023.
Oh
So the
goodness.
retreats, that's another thing that like I think people yearn so much to, connect in person. Um, and I was so used to doing events in person. So this is kind of like my happy medium between the box and doing event planning. So we plan these retreats that are still aligned to beauty and the book. Um, and we just, we have authors come out. We have massages. We did massages and manicures in
I love
Florida.
it. I love it. I love it. So
um,
wait. So can I actually now just go into one of those like social media pictures of like, the lady reclining, she has her head wrapped up in a towel. She has the little
yes,
like the bathtub thingy with the book sitting in it with the candle and like the music, and she's just like this with cucumbers on her eye. Like,
yes,
I
yes.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
So it's like the perfect retreat for people that love to read, because the attendees that come are all people who are interested in literacy. So I don't know if Jess told you, but like the vibe in Florida was just, it was like we knew each other for years. And these were people that I had, connected with in my book club virtually. But to see them in person, it's like, hey, girl, oh
Right, right, right.
my
And
God.
I
People
think,
who,
yeah, I think that's like the beauty of, or one of, let's say, the benefits that we turned it into a benefit through, and I have to say Rona, and those people know why I have to just say Rona, that it came out. So even though we were quarantined, it didn't mean that we stayed away from interaction and developing community. And so
Yes.
that was a perfect example of, yeah, we couldn't necessarily reach out and touch, but we can press, as I say, push the live button and connect with other people. And I've had that experience over these past 2 years of developing community with some people, and some are actually here watching us now, Sister Ramunda, Sister Peachy, and I never met them literally in person. And then I just had the opportunity, by not really happenstance, but coordination. I was in a place, or they were in a place, and we saw each other. And it just happened last week. And I saw this person for the first time, had never met them, but had been in this community for almost 2 years. And it literally was like, I just saw you a couple days ago. And I said to
Yeah.
her, it sounded funny. I said, you look just like you do when we're on live stream. And from a psychological perspective, it's like, well, you're looking at her on a screen. No, but I'm looking at her in person, and literally we just feel like we've been together all this time. So there's something very enigmatic about that. And yes, and Peachy's actually laughing. It's something very enigmatic about it, and beautiful, that you can take this online community over books and beauty, or self-care and literature, and genre hopping, and different lives and experiences. And then you meet the people, and it's just like, child, let's get going, because you haven't skipped a beat. So
Yeah.
how did the shifting to the online community, and then morphing it into the live space, what did you feel about, like, how many people would show up, how many people would get up off their couches and from their dining room tables and hop on a plane, train, automobile to meet in person? Like, what was that like? Because I in my mind, I'd be like, oh my gosh, are they gonna come? Like, are they gonna buy into this? What's gonna happen? How did that feel?
Yeah.
Like,
So I kind of like the community that we had. I kind of encouraged in person, like prior to 2020. It was like, oh, I would love for us to do a meetup. Like, let's meet. We did like a meetup in Prospect Park, you know, like
Brooklyn. Let me. Did she say Prospect Park? Cause she's
yes.
from Brooklyn. Yes. Had to
So
throw
it was
that.
like, we did a Bakersfield meetup in California. So like I attended in-person book clubs, as well as, hosting our virtual um setting. So it was kind of like I knew that they were ready. They kept saying, I want to meet you. I want to meet you. And I'm like, how are we going to do this? So I go on a lot of group trips. I support a lot of um I support a lot of like group travel companies and things like that. And so I was like, it would be nice to have a group travel experience um, that's literacy based, that's focused on self care, that is focused on just enjoyment. Because there's this stigma with reading, that people think that, like people who are intelligent, or people who read, or people who are in the book world are like a little uptight, so
Selfish. Selfish. Like,
yeah, yes. And so it was kind of
some
like, also I wanted to create the perfect balance.
some
So
shot that. I like that.
so it was just all about that, creating that perfect balance. Like, what is the perfect balance for you? What is the perfect balance for you? All of our retreats, are luxury literary experiences. So private room, private bathroom. um, for the Florida retreat, we had a private chef, a private bartender, um, just to give them those experiences. But also, we're going to talk about books. We're going to meet an author. We're going to do a book signing, and also to get some independent authors and things. Because when I was on my tour, my book tour, I met a lot of authors. I met a lot of publishers. I went to Black Writers Weekend. That was amazing. That was such an amazing and life changing experience for me because I didn't go as an author. I didn't go as an educator. I didn't go as a business person. I just went for the enjoyment of it. And so I was really able to take in, and it was my first solo trip. Yeah, it was my first solo trip. And I was just able to take in, that whole experience. And so, yeah, just we kind of put it out there, but when it was time, I knew like, okay, we need to offer some type of in-person experience. So we have the retreat, and then we also have the beauty and a bookstore tour.
Yes, that's the next thing that I wanted to pop into as we sort of come to not let's just say we're on the other side. We're on the other side.
Yeah.
So so you have, and I'm gonna, as an educator, I'm gonna sort of like codify this. So you can read at home individually. You can
Yes.
read as a group in community. You
Yes.
can come out, get on a train, plane, automobile, and read as a group on a beach, in a park, at a lake. I almost feel like this is one of those Dr. Seuss books. You can read and meet the person who wrote it.
Yes.
And now you can read in sort of different spots because you're going on a tour. So tell us about the tour.
So the Beauty and a Bookstore tour is an opportunity for us to support independent bookstores in our cities. So of course, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So we're starting with New York City.
Excuse me, great things come out of Brooklyn. That's right.
Yes, I agree. So we are going to, well, we have a party bus. So included in the ticket price is the party bus. I always include food and beverages because I think that it's easier for us to just have a communal, like to eat together, break bread together, not even easier. It's a nicer experience for us
As I
to
say, to nibble
together.
and sip. Nibble
Yes.
and sip.
So everyone will eat together, and then we will go to 5 different independent bookstores.
Wow.
We're starting with the Lit Bar in the Bronx, and these are bookstores that I've frequented. So I'm like, oh yeah, we're going here, we're going there. We're ending at Cafe Con Libros in Brooklyn.
Okay.
They are actually having a book signing on that day, and a book swap. So I'll tell them that was just amazing because I know that, our bookstore tour attendees will just love to meet an author. I think that just being able to interact in person with, someone whose work you've read is just a different kind of experience.
Okay, I have a question. So a book swap, I'm going to use one
Yes.
of the phrases. Say more. What is a book swap? Someone
So,
typed it in. Book swap. Okay, book swap.
yeah, so everyone would bring a book that you read. And when you get to the book swap, they'll have, like a structured way of us to swap the books with each other. So everyone will leave with a new book from someone else.
Okay, let me just say for the record, the books that I read they're used, meaning I got underlines. Now, who's a part of the community? Because if you're around, let's just say 40 and up, we're a part of the age group where you were still taught, no, let's say 45 and up, that you would taught like don't write in a book because it, like,
Yeah.
but those people, right? But I have books that I know I've loved on, let's say loved on, that have like highlights, they got underlines, they have arrows to the margin. I'm sort of reflecting. Now, I honestly would say, initially, if I quote unquote got a book like that, my older self would say, Why would I want that? Somebody read it, or, like loved and lived in it. But now, as a
Yeah.
senior person, a more mature adult, I would actually think I would want that person's reflection. I would want that
Hmm.
person's journey through the word to see what it is that they got. Because who would really, no, let me say it this way. Some people will read something, and because it doesn't connect with their life, they just gloss over it. But somebody
Hmm.
else's unearthing of that work could actually bring more clarity, right? More understanding of something that what you could gloss over, but if you see their iterations on it, you'd be like, oh wow, is that what that meant? Which is why people know if they go to the movies with me, they're like, oh my gosh, Doria's gonna talk through the whole movie. So I know I would
Yeah.
do well going to a book talk or going to a book swap, because I would say, um, wait, what did you think about this? And did you see what I saw? Or let me tell you how
Hmm.
this moved me. Because I need process. If I do it in isolation, which is why I love this, the book tour, the book club, the book retreat, to be able to really dialogue about things that some people just gloss over.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be at one of these. I'm definitely coming to the book. I gotta come to the book.
Listen,
I
the
gotta come.
bookstore tour is, we have free tickets right now on the our Instagram page, the Beauty and a Bookstore tour. So all you have to do is RSVP, and we'll meet at the first spot, which is the lit bar. So all of the information is in that link. But yeah, it's to support those independent bookstores. I believe that during the pandemic, those were the stores that were hit the hardest, because
Mm,
people, they had to close, and people were either ordering online, and if they didn't have that set up previously, it, caused a struggle. So I really wanted to support them. So I was like, listen, we're celebrating our 5th year anniversary for our book club.
yeah.
So like it was just like, okay, like let's do this. Let's do the bookstore tour. We are planning one in Hudson Valley soon, because Black owned bookstore just opened up in Middletown, and I would like to support her. So, I'm putting all of that together, and then we're gonna do one in Florida. So just kind of going to like
Wow.
different cities and having the bookstore tour. So party bus, food, drinks, vibes, book talk. We just got lucky with the book swap and the book signing. So I don't know how they're going to do the book swap, but I've done book swaps before with book club, and usually it's some type of structured thing, like maybe they do it by age or by birthday, or favorite color, and we swap in a way, because it's
Oh,
to get you to read something different. But having annotations, people buy.
yep. So that's
Yes.
it. Go to Instagram, beauty. This is the book, Beauty and a Book Retreat. So follow and get on the see all the stuff that she has going on. Listen, if y'all love to read, or if you thought you loved to read, follow the sister. Get you a beauty
Yes.
and a book box. Go on the tour. She has so many options. She has so many options. Whether don't matter where you live, like Peachy actually said, you can get me by railway. You can get me by plane. You can get a book. Get you a book. I love it. I love
Yep.
it.
And that's the thing too. We wanted to offer various price points. So
Right.
like our gift options start at like $10. Um and
That's
then our
books. That's Starbucks.
yeah,
Come on, y'all.
and then book our book box is $37.99. And then our bookstore tour was $150. And then our retreat ranges from 2,000 to $4,000. And so for Iceland, it's a 6 day, 5 night experience. And yeah, it's the experience. I can't even, it's just,
That's amazing. No
yeah, it's
matter
it's beautiful.
right. No matter what your, and I'm going to say this in a loving way, no matter what your Cash App, your Zelle, your Venmo, your PayPal, your personal business account look like, you can get you a book. And you can get a book
Yes,
experience. That's the thing.
yes,
'Cause the social
yes,
media is the free 99. Or you go on the
yes.
book. This is amazing. This is
Thank
amazing.
you, thank you.
Wait, you got somebody. Right. Peachy, write it down. Get it. Cien. Excellent. And Peachy, I know you listen to the branding part, so we don't talk about that later. But so this absolutely amazing. Nisha Parker of Beauty and a Book Box. Hold on, we have another comment here. Books are everything. I have a whole library over here. Yes, I know you do.
Yes, I love it. And book people are like, I don't know, I just connect with them. Like my husband's like, you could just sit here all day and talk to your friends about books and business. I'm like, that's my love language.
If you don't give me
Oh
anything
yes.
else, give me a what is it, like a book card, not a book card, but a gift card to Barnes and
Hmm.
Nobles or one of those places. Or let me just shout out AALBC. AALBC is another, like, hub of amazing books by predominantly authors of color. And so let me just shout out Troy Johnson, but that's another sort of like one of the peers in this work. And
Yes.
so this is amazing. If anybody has any questions, I did pop up a couple of just great points that people brought up. But if you have any questions or comments, bring them up now as we start to wrap up. And so once again, this was it wasn't a chance meeting. It was an intentional,
Yes.
God-given meeting and crossing of paths in very tight and close spaces that we had a couple of months ago with some amazing people at a retreat. And Nisha did not bring a book. She did not come to talk about books, but it just happened that it unfurled as we were chatting during the weekend. And I said, wow, I started to hear about it. And then this is what I always do. I say, stop, wait, let's talk about this on the show. Let's get this out to more people. And this is what I believe, inherently, that you start a conversation and if in your head you say, this is amazing. Like, I need to push the live button and tell the world. Just tell the world at the
Yes.
same time. Like, do it.
Yes.
So let's just I'm going to go back to the very, very beginning. Both Nisha and I are educators. So let's just start with that. That is probably the nexus of our relationship and how, yes. Yeah, hello. That's right. Bring up that cup again. What does that cup say?
Teacher fuel.
Woo. Now, both of us, because this is viewed worldwide, both of us. So her cup says teacher fuel for those people in audio space. We have a thing in education for those who teach in the Northeast. We don't talk about our work until September. That's
Yes.
just like our thing. But I said, let's just get this on because this totally is a part of like a new classes in session. So those people who, again, were raised on books, like I was raised on the Scholastic Book Club. Anybody remember the Scholastic Book Club?
Yes.
If you do, type it in the comments, Scholastic Book Club. And my mother I would get it every month. If y'all don't know Scholastic Book Club, then let me just say you didn't grow up in the Northeast. But,
They still have it up here because we signed him
yes,
up for it. Yes.
yes. But I would have, and let me just talk about variety. I'm not actually going to say diversity. I'm going to say variety and representation. That I grew up without any question on the Little House on the Prairie series. That's just what we had. That's what was available at that time. There was no rhyme or reason. There wasn't a question about how come there's no book that looks like me or what. There just wasn't a question because it wasn't available like that. And as I, purchased my books and, I became that reader. Yes, Scholastic is still alive and well. Yes. And if I dig deep enough, actually, I might actually find some of those texts because I'm a reader. And I'll say I'm a reader in my former life. Right now, I spend more time like reading digital things. But when I get a book, let me see what As a matter of fact, so I'm supposed to be reading this that I'll do like a review on. And when I saw this, I said, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get through this? And when I did like this and I opened it up and I smelled the paper, I was like, I'm going to do it. But representation matters. And so I definitely want to just hop on at the, as we wrap up. What is the filter? I think that's the best way to say. What is the filter that you use in order to provide literature to the community that you have? Because you spoke about indie writers and indie bookstores. So what is the filter that you use in order to provide a variety to your audience?
So the book and genre preference section of our subscription box model, that gives us the interest. So usually, not even usually, all the time, like, if someone has a specific genre preference, or like I had a husband order a custom box for his wife, and he said she liked African folklore. So I reached out to, I told you, we have like a large community of like bookstores and publishers that we've been working with for years, that I just send out an email. Hey, we just had a custom box order come in. This subscriber would like African folklore books. Can you send me a list of ones that you would suggest?
Okay.
So with the genre preference, we do the same thing. So we have like an Excel sheet, and it'll have all of the genre preferences. And they know around the time when I send out the questions, like, hey, we have this. So usually for people of color, they would put like African American literature, or like they would be specific. And even people who are, not of African descent, they would still, whatever their preferences, they would share it with us, and we would find them books
Okay.
with that.
Oh, so it's like I can ask you to curate something for me based on, in essence, based
Exactly.
on my idea. I think that's excellent. I think that's excellent because it then provides of course, the publisher, the author with another platform to get their word out. It allows the publisher to showcase their the authors that they work with. And it allows the bookstores, right, to act as the conduit, because you're working with them, you're partnering with them, you're collaborating with
Yes.
them to share the work out. And then it allows us, because, how many of us in the last 2 years were going to a bookstore, right? If we were sitting at
Yeah.
home. So in essence, you went on, let's just say, the internet streets. I won't call out the title, but you
Yes.
went on the internet streets. You may have pulled down an audio book if you were just sort of like, you're on your Peloton bike, ha ha ha, and like trying to listen
Yes.
to a book. It puts a lot of people to work, and it gives them a lot of opportunity to work. So I'm thinking, again, as an entrepreneur, I'm thinking about how to allow people to do their thing with a variety of opportunity, and not just the standard, I go into a bookstore. No, now the ambassadors, that's the word. You're an ambassador,
Yes.
right? You're an ambassador of authors. You're an ambassador of publishers. You're an ambassador of bookstores.
Yes.
And now we go into Iceland. Like, we go into
Yes.
Iceland. That's
And we donate to classrooms. So every quarter we use donors choose. And because as an educator, I know how many teachers, use their own money to fund things for their classroom. So we go into
yeah.
donors choose. And we started that a couple of years ago. Yeah. Well, we just, we choose a classroom. At first I was doing, focusing on special needs area, because I'm a special education teacher. So different projects that teachers were doing to provide like a whole experience for their students with special needs. Now we've broadened it a lot, but yeah, so just, I mean, yes, I agree. Ambassador is a great word and a great name for it, because I mean, we send out the Kristen Hanna books, um, but we also send out Jacqueline Woodson books, you know, like, so it's the perfect, is literally the perfect balance. Whatever you like, you put it in your genre preference. Some people email us and you're like, hey, I want to change my genre preference. I'm trying to get out of thrillers and I want to do
Good.
fantasy. And you can go in, it's a portal. You can go in, you take that out, you update it. And then every quarter we print out the Excel sheet that has the list and then we send it to the publishers. It also lets the publishers know what people are interested in because
Okay.
they're dealing with big brands like Barnes and Noble where
Wow.
they're just sending all these different books. But now they have a small business that's coming to them every quarter, like, okay, we need more fantasy, we need more thrillers, we need more autobiographies, we need more memoirs, or whatever. They now know what, you know, they should be investing in.
Okay.
So I wanted
So
to go over, yeah.
yes, I want to hear some authors, and then I just realized you are my personal librarian.
Have you read that book? The Personal
Wait, that's a book?
Librarian?
No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, I didn't know this. You are my personal librarian. I'm gonna be like, Nisha, I need a book. This is the genres I kind of like, and you're like, okay, give me a minute. You're
My
my
friends do
librarian.
that. My friends do that. Like if my friend Lance is watching, he does that all the time. He's like, I want to read something. What should I read? Because that's what we do on the book club group also. We always share different suggestions, like before we choose the book for the month, because we do a book club meeting every month. We will like, I'll do like a preference and just so that you learn about different. So we did read The Personal Librarian, and yeah, so
Go
but
ahead.
yes, girl, call me if you need me.
Okay, so tell me about, so give me some names of authors. And please, folks, if you're watching, type in the names of these authors. I can't type it in because then the computer will shake, but type in some of these authors as you hear them. Excellent.
Okay, so for the adult September book, I mentioned it earlier, we have Big Chicas Don't Cry by Annette Chavez Macias. And she's actually going to do a live discussion with us next month in the book club group, which is huge because, you know, she's a popular author. Sometimes it's hard to get popular authors like to do those live discussions.
I,
But she's going to come in and discuss her book, which a lot of our subscribers, that was the top pick book, top selected book for our September box. We also sent out Slay by Brittany Morris, and that was a teen book. The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. Just As I Am by the late, great Cicely Tyson.
Mama Cicely.
Uh,
Yes.
yes, like I was like, nope, we have to send out her book. Like I already knew, like before, you know, like that before it even released, that we were gonna have that in rotation for our box. The Whisper Man by Alex North. That was. I'm not really a thriller person, but that was a good book. I mean that book got me into like thinking like, okay, I need to definitely expand my genre preference because I usually like realistic fiction, but like that was good. So The Whisper Man by Alex North, um, The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. That was a great one, and we sent that out as a team box.
Wait, The Box in the Woods?
Yes.
I'm actually typing it in through my phone so it could show up here. Box in the Woods. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, someone was just calling me.
No problem.
The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. So that was a motivational book. So we don't only send out like novels, we send out motivational, self-help. Depends on what you put in your genre preference. Um, The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. That was a great read. Um, Life After Death by Sister Soldier. We sent that one out.
Okay.
Will by Will Smith, memoir. We sent that out. So, and then we have like I have posts on our Beauty and a Book box page with like different books that we like with pictures and information about the books that we send out because when we have now that we have the genre preference, we may have two book options, but then someone may want, a different genre, and so we would put that in the surprise me option. So I just post them up there so that people can see, like the variety of books. But we sent out a lot of different books, a lot of different authors, just motivating. And then we do tell people because they were asking for audio books that, eventually we are going to offer Audible. We're trying to come up with a collaboration agreement so
Go,
that
go ahead, Audible. Audible, y'all better listen. Y'all better, hold on. Let me sip on that. Wait a minute. You partnering with Audible? Audible needs to be recognized.
We're trying because
In
we
the name
want
of
to.
Jesus. It's gonna happen.
Thank you.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, because a lot of our readers would like that option, and it opens it up so everyone can have the opportunity to reach, the books. Like, so we want to do Kindle. We would like to, just have a variety of different formats. So
Lovely.
Audible is the one that we're working on right now. So I'm hoping that at least by next year, this time, that we'll come up with some agreement so that we can offer that to our subscribers as an option.
So all the 4,000 people, and I know this has already flooded your brain, but let me just be the how do we say the 11th person to say all those 4,000 people that you have in your subscription or your database, y'all need to just send a message to Audible saying, hello, she right here. She's going to get us to do Audible books. If you want us to do Audible books, you got to go through her.
I
Because that's
agree,
what
guys.
it's about. It's like it's like having a protest, right? We're going to have a rally. We're going to have a town hall. You need to use her. I think that's just very simple. Audible, I hope y'all listening.
I hope
send
they're
this.
listening too, because we need to have different formats because, a lot of people, like if they're legally blind or, like different formats to offer books to everyone. So that's our goal for the next year.
That's incredible.
So, speaking it into existence.
Okay, so look, next year, right? Next September, let's sort of pop back, right? And just say, hey,
Yes.
you're Audible, y'all on board, right? We're gonna give you a couple months. We're gonna give you a couple months, but y'all gotta get on board. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for popping on at this time of the day. This will be on the replay. I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to, again, just to make sure we have this straight, to follow Nisha Parker at, let's pull it down, beautyandabookbox.com. And if you're on IG, in the IG land, it's beauty. As soon as you type in beauty and a book, everything's going to pop up. Just follow all of them. Make sure you subscribe. Of course, there's a variety of, let's say, investment levels. Like she said, there's the free 99, right? Which is just, hey, come and join the Facebook group and the book community to do the book a month, or, the book reading and the discussion. And then there's, sort of like the either you're going to do the book tour, come through Brooklyn. I'm going to meet y'all in Brooklyn. I'm going to meet you in Brooklyn. I'm gonna show up. There's the book tour. There's from the sublime to the sublimer, right? The nice to the nicest. You have the book club. Yes. You have the book tour. You have the book retreat. You have the book subscription box. I think you've done a great work in a short period of time from the literary perspective of putting books into people's hands on multiple platforms. Number one. Number two, you scaled your business, and I'm not like on Shark Tank, right? So I can't speak to that. But from the lay person, the lay entrepreneur, you provided scalability in a very short period of time, and you've maybe access to literature global. And you're
Yes.
taking people not just from the page, but to the, ooh, I just came up with another one. Sorry. From the page to the park, right? From the page to who was going to go to Iceland? Who was going to Iceland before this? Really? Who was going to
Yeah.
Iceland? So when
And you
you're
know what? Iceland, we only have, I think, one more room left. Like Iceland, and that's in 2024. And I was just like,
you got 2 years.
so yeah, my husband was like, you're gonna have to find another location that's bigger, because people were like emailing me like, girl, like it's four of us that want to come. You only have one more room left. And I'm like, I was gonna do like a small Iceland, but we are a global brand too, so we do ship out globally. Like we have a book club in Chile that subscribes to us quarterly. So I wasn't surprised about like the reach so much, but it was just, like we just opened up Iceland, so I was just like, so yeah, we gotta look for a bigger, a bigger hotel, because a lot of the hotels are like boutique, and I'm
Okay.
like, all right, yeah, but Iceland, but
That's
Jamaica is the author panel, so that's the one that like I really I'm like, wow, like. And I went
incredible.
in June to go see the grounds and everything. That was nice. That was really, really nice.
So listen, folks, if you need to get away, even if you just need to go across the street, come on through with the summation here. You need to go across the street, across town, across the country, or across the world, right? And to read a book, come through, come with it, and join the Beauty and a Book Box team. You
Yes.
can stand on the outside and peep in the window, or you can get your front seat. I gotta write that down. That was good. That was
Write
good
it
idea.
down.
No, I'm gonna just play it back and write it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But we're gonna fly. So peace and blessings. This is a learn to grow you moment where our plan seeks to help you grow. Please set your notifications because there are more people who are gonna pop up on the Doria Lario show and share amazing gems of information, pieces of wisdom. I thoroughly enjoy engaging in cultural and not just culture. No, let me say it differently. In critical conversations, and some of them are culturally based, right? But I really want to do the best I can to shift people's perspective and position on topics and discussions that we sort of maybe have at the water cooler, but then they don't go any further than that. This is where they happen. This is where they happen. So peace and blessings. I wish you well. I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. And the next conversation is going to actually occur in a couple of days. So if you set your notifications and you follow me on Facebook or on YouTube, you will see them. I love you all. Peace and blessings. And you hang right there, Sister Nisha. Don't go anywhere.
Thank
But
you
good
so
night.
much. Thank you.
Good day to everyone else.